we're going to start the show with a little contest. We'll wait another couple minutes, but you guys are in for a minor treat. I used to like a band called Minor Threat. That's different. This is a minor treat. I still like Minor Threat, by the way. Minor Treat is a game on Kahoot. Do you guys know this Kahoot game?
Kahoot! I
Oh,
love
yeah.
Kahoot.
Yeah. We're going to do a little Kahoot action. You guys didn't even know it was coming, did you? It's a game of know-how and speed. Speed kills in this one, and it's all the questions are easy, maybe with one or two exceptions, which I would maybe call moderate. Nothing hard. But basically, the fastest throughout the course of the game will win, and you will win an actual prize. So there's that. Let's see. We have still waiting for a couple people. Let's see. Do you know how to do this thing? It's you can do it if you have the Kahoot app, which I'm assuming you don't. So you can just log in to www.kahoot.it. I'll put that in the chat. Or actually, I'll just Kahoot.it. And I'll give you the pin. It's 22796. Kahoot.it, the pin is 22796. And it's, I see people coming in already. Wow, you guys are quick. Oh my gosh. Elijah's here, Katerina's here. Now, if you want to give yourself a little stage name, that's okay with me. Just don't make it something that, you couldn't tell your mom. So yeah, I don't want to be like, hosting a bunch of,
Delinquent.
obscene, delinquents with obscene names. So we got a fee, we got a yeah, I don't. Is that fee is that for Finland? Because I mean that is their.
Fees for Fiona.
Oh, fees for Fiona.
But it can be Finland if you want it to be.
Well, that's how I read it. So so there's that. Of course, Fiona's more Irish, right?
Yeah.
It's Gaelic.
Yeah.
It's a good old Gaelic name.
My name is quite Irish, Gaelic, whatever term you want to use.
It's all right. I've been to Ireland a few times.
I really want to go to Ireland.
I can't wait to get back.
My cousin moved there, I think last year, right before COVID. And so I'm so jealous of her.
Yeah. Oh, she just went there?
Yeah, she went to Paris to do exchange program in college, and she actually started dating a guy who lives in Ireland. And then she came back to America for 2 years, and then they moved in together just right before COVID started. And so she moved to Galway.
Oh, I love Galway. Oh, man. I just watched a show that was happening in Galway. What was it called? I'll think of it in a minute. And I was just reliving all my Galway memories. Galway's great. My sister lived in Cork for a couple years, and I visited there a few times. All right, so I think we're 16 people in, and somebody just dropped out. We got a dinosaur in there. We got Brazil. We're well represented, but we don't have everybody. So Kahoot.it, you're going to enter the pin 22796. They've made it easy for us. Kahoot.it 22796. I do want to wait for a few more people. All right, so let me tell you how the game works. You get 20 seconds for each question. I've got 8 questions lined up for us, and so this is not a long thing. This is just a little something fun to get us started. The winner will get a real prize. I'll tell you what it is later, and definitely worth trying your best. The questions are pictures, nothing but pictures. It's all about the Rosette groups, and you will see a picture, and as soon as you can, you pick what you think is the Rosette group. Okay, so 226 is the pin for the Kahoot game. All right. If I could get, maybe they don't feel like playing. I don't know why. Oh, okay. So we're missing still 2 people, but you know what? We're going to go ahead. We hit 20, so we're going to go ahead and if code for the Kahoot game. Aiden, are you signed up? I don't see Aiden, but then again, there's like a dinosaur and all kinds of other names. So no, you didn't miss anything. So go to keep the keep Zoom open, but go to Kahoot.it. Just click on that link. Oh, Sophia's here, so that's good. Kahoot.it.
Hi,
click
Professor.
on that link.
I'm so sorry. I was having some internet issues, but I'm here. Hi.
Hi, and it's okay. We're just about to get started. Click on that Kahoot.it link. We're going to play a little game to start with. And 22796 is the pin that you want to put in there. Still missing like a couple people, but we're going to start soon, okay? Okay, one more person and I'm going to start.
Oh yeah, would you mind sharing your screen with us?
Okay.
Professor?
Why am I doing that? Yeah.
Sorry, I joined late because I was in another meeting. Can you just catch me up on what we're doing right now?
Yes. So we're doing Kahoot game, Kahoot.it, and it is the fun way to learn. It's competitive, but in a fun way. You hear funny music, and it's a little game. Just 8 questions. It won't take that long. Okay, here we go. So Rosette groups is the topic, and 3, 2, 1. When you see the first image, you just pick.
Can you show us your screen of the Kahoot page because we can't see the images?
I thought I was sharing right now.
You're sharing like Blackboard, it shows, at least on mine.
Oh man.
Yeah, I see only Blackboard too.
Oh shoot. Okay. All right. So hold back. Some people are playing. I don't know how that happens. Okay, I'm gonna stop. We'll start over. Okay, Kahoot.it. So I mean, whenever you go to Kahoot.it, you're not seeing that. Aren't you
We do,
seeing
but
the?
you have to like share the screen with like the questions and stuff on it.
We only have like a control panel type of thing on our screen.
Oh, I see. I shared. Okay. Now, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I had two Kahoot screens open. But, okay, so we're going to start over. Okay, people. Okay, we're going to start over. Okay. We're going to start over. Play again. 22796. Here we go. So now I have double the amount
It's
of
not letting me
contestants, but
join.
that's okay.
I don't know why.
I don't know either. But we're moving. We're rolling. There's an image, and you pick the reset group. Kahoot.it 22796 is the pin. D2 was the answer. D2. So D means, of course, reflection, which this guy had, and 2 means how many rotational positions. It's got 2 rotational positions. All right, let's go. Here's the next one. Lorena was the fastest this time around. So yeah, I have these like ghost things here, like, because I restarted. Don't worry about that. All right, that's good. Yeah, 16 people got it right. That's very good. Like I said, these are not hard. This is a speed game. Okay. All right, here we go. Who's M, by the way? Good. Okay. I guess a little bit more difficult, but yeah, that one only has that one rotational position, so it's D1. Obviously, it has that vertical reflection line. Okay, here we go. Who's M, by the way? M. M is a mute person. All right, here we go. So you want to get it right, and you want to do it fast. Oh, all right, all right. So yeah, that one was just the twofold rotational symmetry, and nothing. Skylar's hand slipped. Oh man. Well, that's why we have multiple questions. It's not down to just one. Although I feel like there's a couple people who really got this, and they're very fast. Oh, Minjin. Okay, perfect. All right, here we go. Minjin in the lead by a little bit, not by too much. Okay, here we go. We're halfway. All right, good. Yeah, C6. That's it. Although I guess more people than that put D6. Yeah, no, this one didn't have any. We can look at the picture again when the time comes. Uh, oh, I guess we could look at it now. This one doesn't have reflections. If you look at those twirly things, they take all that away. It only has the 6-fold rotational symmetry. Okay, here we go. Ready? Ready or not? Oh, Minjung's doing good. Angie's right behind. Okay, here we go. I just realized I should have put a C4 as an answer choice. When I look at that, the middle, yeah, C4 should have been an answer choice because some people focus just on the middle. That's not, I mean, you want to look at that middle, but then you want to look at the bigger picture too. So C2 was the only one that made sense here. Okay, who's the ghost here? Ghost with the pirate ghost. Another MJ. So Minjung, you're playing twice. You got 2 players. All right. Well, you got 2 spots on the podium. All right, here we go. 7
2 different
questions.
people.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good. C8. Yeah, I guess I was. I was just looking at the beginning of the name, Minjung and Minjeong. All right, excellent. So, okay, top 5 hasn't changed much, and we've got one more question. Ready? Might be a little trickier, not by much, but slightly. D1. See, in this one, there's the horizontal line down through the middle is a reflection line. So that's why it's a D. And then you only have that one, because of the triangle, the orientation of the triangle versus that rectangular piece, it only has one rotational position, but it does have the reflection horizontally. We see most of these things just, in terms of vertical reflection, but horizontals are just fine too. Okay, so let's see. The podium. Number 3 is Minjung and Angie, and yay! So I guess Minjung, Ms. Shin is in the first place, and Ms. Park is 3rd place. So yeah, you guys' name is so similar. All right, so that was it. And that was it's kind of fun when you make it a game. Of course, there's no, this does not reflect on your grade or anything like that. It's all in good fun, and just the way to learn and have fun with it. We're going to play some more games. You know what? These symmetry pictures are great for this kind of thing. And and when we do the border patterns, we're going to do more games. So I'm gonna take a picture of the podium because I might forget otherwise. And I'm going to send these people a present. Or should I say a prize? Okay. Angela, do you go by Angie or Ange?
No, for some reason it says Angela was taken.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait a minute. So do we have two? We don't have two Angelas, do we?
No, I think it was just my phone acting up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyway, you guys did wonderfully, and I could. I'm going to look at the overall scores too, but again, this has nothing to do with your grade or anything like that. So anyway, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too, and the next topic we'll do something similar, and it's the next topic. Speaking of, is the next level of symmetry. Doesn't mean any harder, by the way. It's just remember when I was talking about the point symmetry being kind of like a dimensionless, like dimension 0. So the border patterns that we're going to do today is then, I guess, more like one-dimensional. So these are patterns that take place along a line. So border patterns, also known as these patterns, or line symmetries, take place along a line. And there are 7 such symmetrical patterns. No others. Okay, so there's not going to be any surprises. Like once I showed you these 7 patterns, every single pattern that repeats along a line is going to be one of these 7. Now that's pretty remarkable because you've seen all kinds of jewelry, you know, bracelets and things. You've seen like all kinds of borders on art and all types of stuff that's a repeating thing along a pattern. I mean, along a line. And every one of those, as long as there's a repeat, can be categorized as one of the 7. So in a sense, you could think of these questions all being multiple choice questions with the same options every time, same 7 options every time. I'm going to show you the method by which we're going to categorize these things. And if we have any time left over, then we can look at some examples. But if not, then we'll just look at examples on Thursday. And for the most part, I'm just going to spend today explaining the categorization method. I also made a little video a while back, so you can watch that. Of course, you can also come back to this. I'm recording all the lessons. Okay, so let's start with the patterns. I'm going to just draw it by hand, just because it's hard for me to do reflections and things on here other than drawing them by hand. So let's start with a pattern that you recognize, because there's really nothing much going on. So I'm going to use the comma that I used last time. So this is the kind of pattern, and I'm always sorry for any imperfections in the presentation here. And by the way, we always think of these linear patterns as continuing infinitely in both directions. So here we have one pattern, and you think of it as just going along a line, whether it's some actual border or the word escapes me. What's that? I guess molding is what I'm thinking of, like molding in a room, by a ceiling or the floor.
Yeah, like the crown molding.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Although it ends at the wall, at the when you get to the end of the room. We think of these patterns as continuing. Okay, so they, theoretically speaking, they're infinite repetitions of the same thing. Okay, so here there's one. So what else could we do? Okay, so I'm going to draw another pattern. I'm not going to always draw the three dots both directions. In fact, I'm just going to not draw them. I will draw some lines though. I'll just to kind of keep these in line. So here's my second pattern. I'm going to draw this so that there's a little something going on. So in the first one, there really wasn't anything going on other than the repetition of that comma, right? The first one was just the same thing, just stamped. Stamp, 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 just move down the line. That's what we call a translation, right? You just take the thing, the motif, and just stamp it many, many times. In this next one, we have something. We have what looks to me like a reflection happening there. Okay, I'm going to draw a couple more, and then I'm going to start talking about the way to name these things. Okay, the next one I'm going to actually require 2 rows like this. So this one's going to have the comma is going to be a little bit smaller just to be able to fit it on here nicely. Okay. So that's 3. Now I told you there's 7 such patterns, so that's almost half of them already there. My gosh, I mean, there really aren't that many options. So whenever you see repetition along a line, it's going to fall into one of these categories. There are no exceptions. Okay, next one. Goes like that. Okay, there's something going on there. Just a little bit different from the previous ones. I'm going to draw a few more patterns, and then I'll tell you how to name them. Oops. I have no erasers. I wish I could fix that up a little bit, but good thing I'm not a perfectionist. As long as I get the point across, that's really all I care about. Okay, so there's one. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm going to show you 2 more patterns, and then I'll tell you how we can classify these, what we could call these things. Okay, the next one is going to be also 2 rows. So I'm going to have like that, but then like that. Oops. Oh man, I goofed that up. Oh man, I could see I messed that up here too. Ah. Okay, hold on. Can I? This is really bad. Let me try to fix it like this. This is so silly. Sorry about that. It's like I was already thinking about the next one. Yeah, there literally isn't an eraser that I could use. If I hit the eraser button, it erases the whole thing. Okay. Okay, here we go. So this pattern has 2 rows, and there's definitely something going on with reflections. Okay. And then I'm missing one more. That one looks like this. All right. So let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm telling you now again that these are the only ones. So whatever example you might see out there, we're going to look at a bunch of them on Thursday. Whatever you see out there is going to be one of these 7. And let me next show you how we can classify these things. So this is going to require 2 symbols. Some are letters, some are numbers. And so each one of these is going to get a name that has just 2 symbols to it. The first symbol is especially easy. We're going to call it M if the pattern has vertical reflections. And we're going to call it 1 if not. Okay. So the first symbol is either M or 1. And the deciding factor between the M and the 1 is the existence or lack thereof of vertical reflections. Some of these patterns have them, some of them don't. Now let me explain the whole system, and then we'll go through all of these. I think we'll have some time for examples too. Second symbol can be M also. M if the pattern has a horizontal reflection line. Sorry, the line got cut off there. Could be G if there are glide reflections. 2 if there are twofold rotations. And 1 if none of the above. So M, G, 2, 1 are the options for the second symbol. And I'm going to put a little arrow here to indicate that we go in this order. Okay, we check for M first, then we check for G, and if you don't have that, then you check for 2, and if you don't have that, then it's a 1. There's a reason for that, and I'll tell you what it is in just a minute. Okay then, so wow, I got a 2-symbol classification system, and first symbol is easy, M01. Second symbol is MG2 or 1. Notice, by the way, so 2 options for the first one and 4 options for the second one. Now 2 times 4 is 8. So we could actually make 8 different names with these 2 symbols. But I'm going to write here, no, M2 is not an option. It's not a pattern. M2 is never going to be an answer to any of these. Okay, M2 does not exist. In fact, I'll say this, and I'll say quietly because I'm not sure if we should even be talking about it. If you ever say M2, or if you type M2, I don't know what's going to happen. Things might explode. Things might combust. Don't ever do it. Okay. No. If I had one of those Men in Black systems where I could just erase your memory of the whole idea of M2, that it ever even existed, I would do that right now, but I don't. So I'm just gonna talk. Don't do it. Oh my God, it's like kryptonite. Oh, I'm losing my power. Don't do it. Okay, there is no such thing as M2. Doesn't exist. All right, it's not there. It's all in your mind. If you ever think that's something, it's nothing. Okay. All right. So every other option is viable. Okay. So let me change color. I'm going to write these in red now. So we're going to do the categories in red here, the names, and let's go through it. So in this first one, I have, well, they all look like commas, comma, 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 comma. And what was that song? Comma, 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 chameleon.
I'm a chameleon.
Yeah, comma, chameleon. So it's kind of like that song. No, it's nothing like that song. That was an 80s nightmare. But let's not go there. This is just commas that all look the same. And so if I look at that first symbol, I see that it would be M if the pattern had vertical reflections. That means if I draw a line vertically between the 2 commas, they would look like they're mirrored, but they're definitely not. So I know already that the first symbol of that first pattern is going to be a 1. Okay, now let's keep going. Second symbol would be M if the pattern has a horizontal reflection line. That means that the center line going horizontally would be a mirror line. That's not the case because I only have those dark spots at the top right? You can't really do this properly with a symmetrical motif. See, right now, my motif doesn't have any symmetry of its own, and those are the best kinds, because otherwise you're going to have unintended symmetries. So I wanted to have an asymmetric motif, something that doesn't have rotational or reflectional symmetry. So if I tried to draw a mirror line here in the middle horizontally, that would not work out. So it's not M. Now, it's not G or 2 either, but let's just go forward with the analysis. So glide reflections. Now, glide reflection is something where we're going to see it later, where you're going to reflect and then translate something. I don't have that, because none of these things are reflected in any way. If you thought of these as like handprints, these would all be a print of the same hand, whether it's left hand or right hand. These are all prints of the same thing. So there's no reflection. If there was a reflection, then some of them would be right hand and some of them would be left hand. So in this particular example, this comma never changes handedness. It never changes its main orientation. Okay, 2 rotations. We don't have that either, because if you had any rotations, some of these dark spots would be in the bottom if you had any rotating going on. So none of the above. So the first one had nothing at all. So it's 1, 1. Well, to be exact, it's not exactly nothing, because we do have translations. Translation is the kind of symmetry that you don't even notice, because it's just a repeat of the same thing. So you have the same motif translated over and over and over and over. But we don't even ask the question here in the classification, because they all have that. Okay, so the first one has the least interesting symmetries. Everything else has something going on, something else going on. All right, so let's see what is happening with the second one. So the first symbol is M if the pattern has vertical reflections. Well, guess what? That's a mirror line. In fact, I could draw a mirror line between any pair of commas. I just did it here. And I could do it over and over and over. Okay? So this one has vertical reflections. So the second pattern, this guy here, is going to start with M. Second symbol, M if the pattern has the horizontal mirror line. Nope, I don't have it. G if there are glide reflections. Nope, I don't have it. 2 if there are twofold rotations. All of these would actually require some of these dark spots to be in the bottom. And we don't have that. In fact, all of them would require half of the dark spots to be in the bottom, to be exact. And we don't have any of that. So this is M1. Let me go through that again, because I know some people are probably thinking, what on earth is going on? This is something very new. Never seen this before. Well, you're not alone. In fact, I don't think anybody has seen this before here. Or is there anybody here who's seen these kinds of symmetrical patterns before? I mean, seen how to analyze them, learned how to give them names. We've all seen these patterns. Yeah, this is not something that they teach in high school or almost even in any college. It's a little secret almost. and it gives you an understanding of a visual language that, like, there are professionals out there creating these kinds of things that don't actually know the math behind it. They don't know what it's called, but they'll just do these repeats. And seeing this laid out and classified will give you a totally different understanding, a totally different level of attack, if you will, to something like this. And this is really not difficult. This is not like those R's and F's that we encountered last week. So, by the way, we could talk a little more about those on Thursday. I could take questions on those on Thursday. And then on Thursday, I can give you the review sheet. Maybe I can send it tonight if you guys. It probably doesn't make much difference. I think didn't we settle on next Thursday next week for the test for the midterm. That would be the 18th, March 18th. I think we said that was going to be the test day. All right, we can re-examine that date this coming Thursday, but I think that probably should work. I know we're going to get to cover enough border patterns by then. I always want to have people, I want to give students a chance to ask questions about anything I teach, at least a day or maybe 2 days worth of questions, before you're tested on it. So you're going to have that. Now, let's move on to the third pattern here. Does the third pattern have vertical reflections? So if you draw vertical lines, like we did in the second one, do they act as mirror lines? And the answer is no, they don't. They don't. They're vertically, there's really nothing going on like that. But the pattern does have the center line as a mirror line. You see that? This is the first pattern where we've seen that. So the name of this then, could somebody tell me? No vertical reflections, but yes, horizontal. So Nicolette, that's exactly right. 1M. Is this making sense? I mean, right now we've only seen reflections and nothing else. But it's really quite simple. I mean, once you get used to looking at these things and analyzing with this simple method. By the way, this method is even simpler than the one that they give you in the book. The book uses 4 symbols for some reason. The problems in the book are fine. They're good problems, but for some reason the classification system there is a little more complicated. So I would highly recommend using this one just because it's so simple. There's only 2 symbols. So, all right, moving on. Now looking at the top one in the second column here. Okay, so here we have a comma like this, and the next one seems to be kind of like upside down, but it's not just upside down like flipped. This is upside down rotated. If you look at that point that I just drew, that's a rotation center. And it actually has those between every pair of commas. Okay? So clearly we don't have vertical reflections, and we don't have a horizontal reflection line. And in this case, nor do we have the glide reflections, and I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a minute. But we do have these two-fold rotations. So let's see. Let's go back. First symbol is going to be a 1 because we do not have vertical reflections like we did in the second pattern, like this. We do not have a horizontal mirror line like we did in the third pattern. Glides we haven't seen today yet, but I can assure you this one doesn't have them. And then 2 for two-fold rotations, that we have. So this one is a 1, 2. You see how, if you look at that first comma, and you look at this point here, how we could we could pin the pattern down at this point and turn the thing upside down, rotate it, and this comma right here would align with this next one. And the whole pattern would actually align with itself. You know, it's not just one comma moving, it's the whole thing. You know, if you took a line like a molding or whatever line you might have, or pattern along a line, and you rotate it, then the whole thing rotates. You know, it's not like one piece of it just turns. The whole thing will turn. And if it acts like this one here, we're going to call it a 1, 2. See how it's like this almost looks like 69, like the number 6 and 9, and 69 is a notorious number because it can be rotated. It's got that two-fold symmetry. Okay, so what's another number, by the way, that has two-fold symmetry? Give me a two-digit number. Can you think of a two-digit number that has two-fold symmetry? Depends a little bit how you draw them, or what kind of font you use. '88, very good. Yeah, 88 has all kinds of symmetry, in fact. 11 could also be one. But it depends a little bit on the font. 88's a nicer example. Although even in 88, sometimes you see that snowman kind of 8 where the top is a little bit smaller than the bottom. This depends on the calligraphy of the number. So 66 does not work out because if you rotate that around, it would become 99. So 69 is kind of the perfect example because they're not the same number, and it does work out. Yeah. You could say 0, 0, but that's not really a great example. It's not a counting number. Okay, moving on to the next example. By the way, if you had 3 digits, you can make up a lot of different kind of numbers. 2 digits is almost more difficult than the 3 digits. Okay, so let's see this example here. So how did we get from this first comma to the second comma? And that's not a rotation. Notice the difference. The first comma is the same, but in the second comma, there's a difference. The dark part, the bold part, is down in both cases, but it changes handedness. So in this example, it was like one hand, left hand, let's say, rotated so that the second one is also left hand. It's just upside down. And third one is again left hand. And this The whole 1-2 pattern is just left hand, left hand, left hand, left hand. But in the next pattern, it actually changes handedness. So, by the way, I'm already assuming no vertical reflections, no horizontal reflections. So this is what a glide looks like. You take this hand, the comma, I'm sorry. You take the comma, reflect it so it actually becomes a right hand, and then translate it. So this comma, when you reflect it across I'm going to make a dashed line here. Okay, so this is not a reflection line. This is a glide reflection line. I'm going to make a line here in the middle, but it serves a different purpose now. This is not a straight up mirror line. This is for a glide reflection. So when you take this comma here and reflect it across that line and then move it over, it plops right on top of this one. And notice that we do reflect it. So a left hand would become a right hand. So the comma changes handedness. So it's not the same exact thing as in the 1-2 pattern. This is a 1G pattern. And to recognize the difference between the two, the 1-2 and the 1G, is not always so easy. And I could talk about it a lot. And when I ask you to make these kinds of patterns, which I will, on Thursday I'll give you the project to do over the weekend, some people are still going to make the mistake. If I say, create something using all 7 distinct border patterns, then some people will still hand over, 2 of the 1-2s or 2 of the 1Gs, and not the, not all of them. People still get them mixed up. Okay, moving on. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th one. Notice here we have a lot of reflections. Vertical reflections galore, and then also the horizontal. So what should I call this? That's right. Nicolette's got this. MM. MM. So that one has the vertical reflection, and it's got the horizontal reflection. And yeah, that you see that pattern a lot. That has the most, I guess you could call it balanced feel, or the most reflections. M&M. Actually, there's a rapper that made this famous, this name. I think it's because of this. It might be a little bit before your time, but he called himself Eminem. Have you heard of him? Eminem. Yes. So he's kind of like my contemporary. It's like a while back. I think he still does like stunts at like some Grammys or something, to stay famous. But Eminem, I think the story goes that he really liked this border pattern, and he just thought it was cool, and people wouldn't catch on where he got the name. So yeah, I think this is where he got it. If I was going to be a rapper, and I would get my name from a border pattern, I'd probably be 1G. I think that'd be cool. It's also got that G in, like the glide. I think it's cooler. But anyway, not a rapper. Not going to be one. So I guess I could still go by 1G. I could call my son 1G. Okay, anyway. All right. Never you mind. I'm just kidding, by the way. Eminem didn't get his name from a border pattern. I think his initials are MM. That's why he went by Eminem. It did come from MM though. All right, last one. This is the one you all have been waiting for. And in fact, since you know that one combination, who shall remain unnamed, is not an option, then there's only one thing that it can be. See, this last one has vertical reflections, and it also has, it does not have horizontal reflections, but it does have, and I'm going to put it in the dashed line again, it does have a glide in the middle. So this one is going to be called MG. And this one's a little tricky because you might say, wait a minute, if I take this first comma and I do the glide to it, so I reflect it across that dashed line and I move it over, it doesn't go here. So it doesn't have the glide. Well, hear me out. This is the pattern where actually you could first think of the vertical reflection as creating the pair, then you glide the whole pair. So I'm going to put a little color on. So you take this pair of commas and you glide that over, and that becomes this pair. So this comma here, the first one, it's glided over to here, to the next, the left one on the next pair. All right. Anyway, we're going to do a bunch of practice on this, and if you want to take a picture or a screenshot of the method here, that might be a good idea. I'm also going to put it on Blackboard. I'm also going to post a video where I explain this in a more succinct way. No Eminem jokes or any other jokes taking up time in that one. Sorry about that if that was a little, if that had some corns in it. Anyway, it's about time we hit the dinner table. Are there any questions? I should give you some homework, or something to look at anyway. Let's see. Where are we? We are now in chapter 5. They call them freeze patterns. For some reason, I tend to call them border patterns, but freeze is good too. And again, the system that they have here in the book is actually more complicated than the system that we're using here. But you could still use the section. It's not it doesn't change anything. Please look at exercises 8, 9, and 10 on page 152, 153. So I'll put that here.
Professor, could you also upload the pages if they're on the book?
Yes, unfortunately I have the right answers written there, but maybe I could try to cover them or something.
Thank you.
So read section. It's 5.3, and then work out problems 8, 9, and 10. So we'll look at those next time. We'll look at examples. If you want to bring any questions about the R's and F's, we can talk about those too on Thursday. Now, as far as the midterm, this is the end of the new material, or this is the end of the material. So Thursday, we're going to talk more about border patterns, and then following Tuesday, we're going to just review. And I will be sending you a review sheet some point between next class, so you can work on that.
Professor, I have
So
a
next week
question.
is a review. Review only. Yeah.
The homework from last week, we're gonna go over next week.
Yeah, the tick. Yeah, over that one. Good. I mean, I'm glad I didn't even try, because it was either that or the Kahoot game. I thought the Kahoot's so much more fun, so we did that. So, but we can start with those this Thursday, and then we can do more of that Rosette arithmetic stuff next Tuesday, because I know that's tricky. Okay, that is it for me. If there are no other questions, we got a full day on Thursday, but no new material. So we're just going to go over some stuff on the border patterns, and we're going to go over some stuff as far as the Rosette patterns. I'm going to distribute the review sheet and tell you what the project's going to be. And we got a busy couple weeks here, but that's all right. It's not like the outside is like, it's not like the weather's nice or anything. It's only 64 degrees today here in New York. Only 67 on Thursday.
It's 73 degrees
Anyway.
in North Carolina. It's so nice.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, man. By the way, I just talked to somebody in South Carolina today, and I talked to somebody in North Carolina yesterday. I have a bunch of friends there. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But it is a nice part of the country. I like it there. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thank you.
Enjoy your dinner, and I'll see you on Thursday.